Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the Link to the Past Randomizer tournament. Welcome to this key matchup in Group A, B, C, D, E, F. I am James FNX, and I am joined today by Adirondack Rick. Rick, how you doing?
I'm a little worried about what I'm seeing on my screen, but I'm guessing it's just going to load up. There it goes. All right, so as you can see, this match is going to be Boss Randomizer. We got the Mick Boss here for the final match of this Group A-B. And this is a rather important group match between these two because 3 runners are impacted.
Yeah, on the left we've got Rayvis, who is locked up the #1 seed in this group. He's currently sitting at 5-0. A win here will get him to 6-0 and a very, very high seed going into brackets. And on the right, we've got prdwong, who is currently sitting at 2-3, currently in 3rd place in the group. But a win here will get him to 3-3, which will tie him with F. Coughlin sitting in the clubhouse at 3-3. But F. Coughlin lost both his races to Rayvis, so if prdwong gets the win here, he will have the tiebreaker and move on to brackets.
Yep, and one of the other things here is the fact that Rayvis being 5-0, 6-0 is a very, very illustrious company and exclusive company at that. Would guarantee Rayvis a seed of no less than 8. We are underway. Let's begin this Mick Boss, and we begin with the Cane of Burna at Link's house and a key to Hyrule Castle in the back. And thank you, Rayvis, for not removing that text.
Just letting us know the race is going to start at the top of the hour. It's fine. A little bit of divergence here at the start. prdwong starting with the Uncle route. Rave is going to head directly into Kakariko. Lots of bombs for our tree pull. I'll assume Rave is going to grab that too as he heads up to the Lost Woods.
And so as we sync up our runners and get ourselves all set to go, Mick Boss means we are dealing with a full boss shuffle. That means 3 bosses will be duplicates. Nice bomb pull right there, as Rayvis finds out. We found that from prdwong just a moment ago as well. But 3 of the bosses will be duplicated. The others will be singles in various dungeons throughout the world of Light World and Dark World.
Yeah, and you saw prdwong get a compass from Misery Meyer. Compass is a bit more important in this mode than they normally would. Normally, most of our runners would be very unhappy to see a compass, but with this boss shuffle, when you get into a dungeon, if you have that compass, you'll be able to see what that boss is without having to go all the way to the boss room. So you'll be able to check and see if you can defeat that boss and get to the back without having to worry about orphaning a boss check because you just can't beat it.
And logically, it is required for you to find those compasses before you're able to claim the prize of the dungeon.
Davis getting into Kakariko and heading to these high density checks. We'll see a lot of items here in short order. Interesting, prdwong feeling pretty confident skipping on that heart container in the mushroom slot that Rayvis grabbed. Rayvis seeing a lamp here in Blind's hut.
And as we make our way towards the well, will be the next destination here for Rayvis. I'm wondering exactly what the idea will be for our runners with that cane of burner that we found in Link's house, plus the lamp that we found here. Early trip to Hyrule Castle, perhaps?
It could be. We saw the key back in the sanctuary. Rayvis grabbed that already. Both her runners have grabbed that, I believe. So could take that all the way back. We find a little bit more magic or another refill of bombs from the tree bowl.
And we have enough for the bottle vendor, thanks to that 50 in the back of the well. We get ourselves another heart container, another piece of heart to fill up a heart container. And the compass, well, that one is the compass that is of uselessness because it's to Ganon's tower.
Unfortunately, the compass in Ganon's tower does not tell our runners what the 3 bosses are in the 3 vanilla locations there. So that compass is still pretty bad.
100 rupees for 3 bombs off the bottle vendor. Now over towards the chicken coop. And still, just based on the rollout of items that we've seen so far, there's nothing that is pushing me in any direction once we're done with this village.
Yeah, the only thing this layout would kind of make me want to do is blind check the race game here, because there's just been nothing at Kakariko so far.
Still more nothing inside of the back of the tavern, so I definitely would. I agree with you. I definitely would blind check the race game at this point in time. I know there's a lot of people that talk about Stakariko Village, but this is Dudzorizo Village.
Yeah, this is Hashiriko at best, and barely enough to even get the bottle vendor done. Just a piece harder than the library as well, so just absolutely nothing in this area so far. And Rayvis is going to peek.
I think I like Rokuriko better.
And that's the literacy sitting at the maze race, so gonna run back and grab that. That will let our runners dip into Desert Palace if they so choose.
That's a scary one, because with that Can of Burna, coupled with the... Well, actually, no, we still need a glove in order to get to the back. Never mind. But I was going to say we could possibly have Desert come into play real soon.
Yeah. I'm not sure if the logic requires a magic bar for Burna Landmo, but we've got most of the pieces so far. We do need a glove to get to the back, but
I can always recite that race we had back in 2018 between Cruel and Viteza that required them to do Cane of Burna plus bombs in order to get the Moon Pearl off that Lammola. I can always think of about that scenario when we even talk about the possibility of needing more resources for that village or for that dungeon.
yeah, Moon Pearl has found its way into some very interesting places this tournament, and a lot of the races I've seen. Rayvis to grab that Burna is going to head to South Shore and take a look at Mini Moldorm Cave. Going to do it with some bombs.
Nice toss right there behind the back. Okay, I thought he was actually going to get both of them at the very, very tail end of that second there. Rayvis realizing that probably I should grab that as I'm probably going to have to make a trip over towards the Ice Rod Cave in just a moment.
Yeah, choosing to do this before Dam either says Rayvis is going to head directly to Ice Rod Cave, or is going to do this west, do Dam, and then head over to the desert area.
I think this is going to be a west to east here. Check this, check Ice Rod Cave, and then start back at the dam. Yep, that's exactly the way we're going.
Rayvis got a little bit unlucky there. The mini Moldorms are in that large item pool. Did get the heart drop and the fairy drop. The next drop in the pool is a full magic container, and that would be really helpful to have that with Burna right now. You see why Rayvis wanted that fairy. Those crabs deal 2 hearts of damage on green mail and are just really dangerous, unpredictable. Not much in the dam for prdwong. Does grab those bombs, get back to 10. He's going to head over to Mini Moldorm with a full pack.
As we find out, the bush crabs just are not helping us at all with our resources at this point. Rayvis heading to the Hyrule Castle now. And probably we'll get a couple of magic things for the Cane of Burna at this point. But really, this is tough.
He's gonna be able to refill his bombs. He'll kill one enemy here. Refill
true,
back
yeah.
to 10 bombs, and we'll have enough to get through escape.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about the 8 bomb pack tree pull drop at this stage. That will help out, because there's the one enemy kill. We get the compass to Misery Mire.
Yeah, prdwong grabbed that right at the start of the game. We've got the uncle item, which I think was just money, if I remember correctly. Oh, arrows, even worse. And gonna head into escape with the small key already, and this lamp and this burner can full clear the whole thing. So 7 items still in the back.
prdwong trying to get their way over towards the Ice Rod Cave. Does need to be careful. This does always had the potential of just going awry for runners, especially when that happens. Oh!
No. Why do you say things? Why do you say things? Oh. Tried to sneak in there before that, or as that bomb was going off, but gets hit by the bomb explosion.
And I think what really happened there for prdwong is that they got freaked out by that crab that was to their left and went a little too soon and caught the bomb blast. All right, we got ourselves the glove, which will help out getting the back of the escape check coming up here.
That means our Rayvis is just gonna be able to save and quit after getting this Dark Cross item. Is gonna have to dig in for that rat key. Prdwong giving up on Ice Rod Cave for now. Makes a ton of sense and won't get burned too bad for it. Does get those guards killed for that bomb pack, and we'll head into escape themselves.
Which is good because prdwong needs the at least to get the glove there. We get ourselves the compass to Skull Woods as we now go to the back of the escape here. The ball and chain guard. See what we have in that chest over there. Prdwong about to get the gloves. So you mentioned this at the beginning of this broadcast. This is very important for 3 members of this group. And the big thing here is prdwong is in control of their destiny. If they win this race, they're in the brackets. If they lose, they're out. Hook shot. Okay.
That's quite a loaded front of escape there. But yeah, prdwong's got to get this win to get the tiebreaker over F. Coughlin, who is currently sitting in second place.
And the big reason there is because those two would be tied with the same record. However, the advantage would go to prdwong because of this win over Rayvis. Fred went 0-2 against Rayvis, so therefore the 1-1 record better than the 0-2 record, clinching the tiebreak.
Exactly. As Rayvis heads to the back of escape, both these runners have very good bomb escapes. A lot of practice put into standard with weapons. We find a bow in the back of escape for Rayvis.
I start to think about possibly having an Eastern play soon with that bow, although, of course, the boss could tell us otherwise.
Yeah, it's a little iffy. You don't know if it's a pendant or a crystal. You don't know what the boss is. There's not a lot of bosses that our runners can kill right now. Can't kill Moldorm. Can't kill tons of bosses. Helmasaur can't kill Argus. So many bosses that are out of range right now.
Why can't you kill Helmasaur?
Oh, I guess we have a bow. We can kill Helmasaur, yeah. So we can't kill Argus. We can't kill Helmasaur, though.
Yeah, the big thing right there is the fact that you could use the bombs to destroy the mask and then use the arrows to get the 8 into it afterwards.
Yep, you're correct.
And that's the nervous thing about the early game here is the fact that there's just so much that you can possibly do but can't possibly do at the same time, and you just don't know.
Yeah, you can find yourself in a situation where the boss of Eastern is Vitreous, which technically is in logic because our runners have money and bombs and arrows. But no one really wants to get into a Vitreous fight right now.
With that Eastern Palace compass, I just didn't even notice that was in Dark Cross. That makes this Eastern play a little bit more valuable, I guess. Green Pendant turns out... Thank you.
Sarasla making our decisions a little bit more interesting.
And also Bottle, our first Bottle scene with the fairy inside of it. Looks like Rayvis is going to go ahead and go into Eastern Palace. This scene seems to be screaming it, so I can understand this.
Yeah, especially even finding the compass, not just because of the boss info, but kind of half the pieces logically to the boss room being in logic. One of the weird quirks about Keysanity is that the map and the compass are technically required for logic, as we find it There's that an Argus?
That's an Argus.
Yeah, we're gonna need a sword or a hammer to kill that one.
Oh, don't worry. The sword is probably here in the first chest of this Eastern. See, sword. You can hit enemies with a key, right?
Keyblade. That's what it is. It's a Keyblade.
See, you get where I'm going with this. Being told that you could actually kill the puffs with the bombs, but I think you probably need more than just 4 to actually have a chance with this fight. There you go.
All right.
I was one chest off. I was one chest off.
And I'm sure for both these runners that the Fighter Sword Argus not a big problem in terms of a scary fight. It's just slow. prdwong choosing to go up the mountain instead of heading over to Eastern, though. I'm going to check out a couple of looks here. Got the item from the old man, and we'll take a look at Spectacle Rock and in Spectacle Rock.
prdwong does have the hook shot, so they can get over to the east side.
Yeah, so this makes a lot of sense from prdwong's location as well. Both these plays definitely reasonable for these runners. Either choosing to do Eastern Palace's Rayvis or choosing to go up the mountain and hit over to Paradox Cave from prdwong's perspective.
Alright, so we have the items inside of this paradox for prdwong, and they are as follows. A map to Desert Palace, and some rupees. Not necessarily exciting things on the bottom, or the top, depending on how you view this. Rayvis employing some lag strats in order to get to the switch to get that chest to open up. We find ourselves another one of our maps. Of course, maps do the same thing here in Boss than they do. Oh!
Yeah, let's just keep talking about that map and not about the Titans, mitts, and boots sitting in the rest of Paradox Cave.
Not important.
No. not an issue at all. Those are very nice. Well, I'm gonna be able to take a look at Spiral Cave here. May even sneak around and take a look at Super Bunny while he's up here.
Now we're just gonna go ahead and put the Moon Pearl here in Spiral Cave and just be done with it.
Fighter Sword Argus, you're going to want to pull these puffs away and get double hits with these spins, like that. Rayvis is going to have to be patient. Green Mail means those puffs deal 2 hearts of damage when they hit him.
Yeah, you also don't want to get bodied by Argus itself, because that also does 2 hearts damage. But it does have the fairy in the bottle. Do want to remind you of that.
And without a mirror, it wouldn't be the end of the world to use that fairy in a bottle here if he has to. Rather get the clean kill, but...
It's just giving us more time to listen to the soundtrack.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VIII soundtrack from Rayvis' side, this is it's quite good music.
Boot check sealed prdwong 2 pieces of heart. Rayvis has finished off with the Argus fight, and so we got ourselves a sword here in this Eastern Palace. And the question now also becomes, what is on this green pendant? But that sword, if green pendant Eastern does not turn out to be anything, could help Rayvis out later on.
Yeah, if Pretty Wong continues to avoid Eastern Palace, it's going to be a while before he sees that sword. Rayvis can turn this green pendant while Pretty Wong's going to head take these boots over to Desert Palace. Makes a lot of sense. Being able to get that torch item, as well as the other 3 items in the front.
And just a shield is the result there for Rayvis for the green pendant turn in. All right, so the sword, the only main thing that we saw there from Rayvis in that Eastern Palace. And over here at Gina, 20 rupees. It looks like Rayvis now heading up to the mountain as well, so it's not going to be super long of a time difference between Purdy Wong and Rayvis as far as the boots pickup is.
No, Rayvis making his way up here. Best play from his perspective, so gonna have those boots here pretty soon. Pretty Wong can get to the boss this dungeon. Has the map. We'll know if it's a map or pendant or crystal. I don't think we have a compass to this dungeon yet, though, so you're going to have to hop into the back blind and see what that boss is. Without this sword, we'll have a few bosses that still Pretty Wong can't kill.
What was that?
Our tracker, Sabletooth, is saying that it was magic powder on Lumberjack Ledge.
No, oh. Well, I think Desert Ledge is what they're talking about for powder.
Okay, I did not see it was on Lumberjack Ledge.
That was something interesting. I don't know exactly what it was. Quake found here in this first chest of desert. I don't know how runners can know exactly just by like a fraction of a second look at something like that. Anyways, we do know that desert is a crystal based on that sea on the top left of Purdy Wong's side. There's our Moon Pearl. Okay, so you needed the boots out of...
Yeah,
you needed the boots off the mountain to get into desert. So if you wound up going into desert baited by that book early on, you set yourself up for a double dip.
Not necessarily. You could steal the key out of the back. It did have the glove.
If you went over to Hyrule Castle, if you didn't, then yeah, you're messed up.
Yeah, if your first stop was immediately to Desert Palace and not Hyrule Castle, you would be having a bad time. But definitely worse to grab this Moon Pearl without the boots. That's for sure. Wong trying to set up hook speed. Kind of a dangerous place to do it.
And Purdy Wong is opting not to finish off with Desert, does not want to take the chance of going to the back to find out that it's a boss that they can't beat at this point in time.
Yeah, I think Rayvis, when he gets in that situation, is probably more likely to go back to the boss because he does have that sword.
And that's true. But Purdy Wong has a lot of reasons not to go into Eastern Palace at this point in time because we have Dark World access. But, okay, so we are... Okay, Purdy Wong's not the one with the bottle. It is Rayvis who has the bottle, so never mind. Trust me, I know how this game works. Sometimes.
Yeah, that bottle from Sarasa's hut, if I remember correctly.
Yep, that's right. It was the back 3 of Sahasrarla's hut.
Pretty Wong gonna head directly into Skull Woods.
Makes sense. There are 4 items here in Skull Woods with the McBoss aspect turned on.
Gets a key out of the map chest, so gonna clear out the front before heading into the middle area to get the big key chest. Get a compass to Desert Palace, so we'll be able to find out the boss later. A little unfortunate. There's blue mail for Rayvis.
Yeah, which means logically, in order to get the prize out of Desert, it's a double dip, but that's logic as opposed to anything that these two are playing. Mushroom found here in the pinball room.
Yeah,
And
be able to
Gibdo
turn-
hugs.
Yeah, lots of Gibdo hugs to get the Death Warp out of here, or just waits for a Wallmaster. Already having the powder, they're going to be able to turn that Mushroom in without any worry at all.
And being told that our Desert Palace Crystal is not one of our 5, 6, is Magic Cape going to be required? Well, not for those 20 rupees.
And prdwong going to have an interesting decision, barring a fun find in one of these 3 checks in Village Outcast, going into Thieves Town without his hammer. In Boss Shuffle, it's more likely that prdwong is going to do it, since you don't have to go to the back to see what the boss is.
Rayvis checking Sick Kid. Find out what we have on that pickup. 20 rupees, not that important. We do have our second medallion in Ether inside of the chess game. And you do bring up that interesting point, because you could, even if you don't intend on finishing this dungeon, get information on what you're up against here in this Thieves Town. But we do also have the compass, if I do remember correctly.
We do not, because we don't see a chess counter on the screen right now.
We do not. Okay. No. Maybe, I don't know.
So, small
Words.
key to start out with. So, hammer could be anywhere in this dungeon. I know a lot of runners like to choose. We find Samaria in the 3rd check here in Thieves Town. That's a big find. I know, and a sword. So Frog of Thieves Town, pretty stacked, and that's going to give prdwong a lot of options for boss kills now. But I know a lot of runners like to do the front 4 at Thieves Town and then go directly to the boss and kind of set the back aside for later as a later check and not necessarily do everything all at once. We'll see what boss we have here. It is a Trinex. Not going to be able to kill that one.
Yeah, that's going to be an instant death warp back, and pray that it is a petted dungeon as opposed to a crystal.
Yeah. Actually, I'm sure prdwong's going to be happy to see a Trinex that's going to reduce the chances of Trinex on ice later in the seed.
It reduces, but not fully out of it, and prdwong has a bomb problem.
Yeah, there's 2 50-50 bushes by the brewery. It misses on both his tries in round 1. Goods get a bomb there. Gets 1 of 2 on the second try. We'll get it open. We'll make another check when he gets out of here and find some bombs.
There we go. Now we can get into a hype cave. So Rayvis is going to get the Moon Pearl here out of this desert real soon. I mean, for Rayvis, it was pretty much down to this and one other check open to them.
Yeah, and this looks way better than Zora, so...
Yeah, especially since your rupee count is 325.
Going to take these mitts, grab a frog, and take him on a tour of the Dark World.
Now, when you're taking this frog on a tour of the Dark World, are you being a tour guide, or are you just being silent throughout all of this?
I'm probably just letting the frog enjoy the scenery. Hopefully I'm running, so I'm just thinking about running and not talking.
Over here on your left, we have a tree. This tree talks to Link if you bunk into it. We also do know that swamp and ice are crystals.
It's good knowledge to have. We'll know that those flippers will show up at some point. Thieves Town is a red crystal along with Charter Rock, so we're going to need to find both those rods to kill that Trinex.
I'm not convinced about that. I mean, at least this means we don't have any ice Trinex. Hey, there's the mirror. We don't have any ice Trinex departures to try to find where the ice rod turned out to be.
There's one of our rods right there, the fire rod in Night Cave. So a mirror and a fire rod in this cave. Pretty nice today. We're going to need both those items. The swamp is a crystal, and we know we have to kill a Trinex.
That actually gives us 5 of our 7 crystal information. Because we know that desert's a crystal, we now know that swamp and ice are crystals, and 5, 6 are Thieves Town and Turtle Rock.
And pick up another map here. We'll see if this one's useful. Parrot. So that is new information.
It is new information indeed. And we're not going to find out the information just yet. But what we are going to find out is Armos Knights are at the Desert Boss.
Yeah, and prdwong chose not to blind check this fight because at that point he didn't have a sword. So we'll be able to get back here pretty quickly, though. It's not a huge deal. Rayvis does take it down very easily. Grabs 50 rupees and grabs the first crystal of the seed.
Yep. That 50 rupees, not necessarily what we needed, but that crystal is definitely something that we need. And Rayvis, with that information, now leaves Desert Palace, and now it's off to the Dark World for Rayvis as well. Oh, hammer on the breadsmiths.
That is a very convenient location. You'll be able to pick up, tries to light the torch, the peg on fire. They'll pick up this magic bat item as well right here.
And Rayvis is going for information over here towards the Dark World checks, Super Bunny as well as Turtle Rock information. Also Hookshot Cave as well. The one thing Rayvis will not be able to do is anything inside of Turtle Rock, because no hammer, no cane, which we've seen by way of prdwong.
Yeah, and I kind of like this from Rayvis' side. You don't have those items to open up Turtle Rock. You don't even know yet if you need to do Turtle Rock or not. So you get 6 checks up here. You get a bunch of information. And it's not that long of a time to get over to this area. Just bombs and hammer pegs. Not going to worry about those.
Nothing significant inside of the Super Bunny Cave.
I didn't see if prdwong picked up the chest and deposited it or not. So we see half magic is the only prize out of Hookshot Cave.
prdwong has grabbed the chest and is about ready to glitch it so that he can pick up the prize right here. And it's just 10 arrows.
Yeah, this game gets very confused about whether or not you have a follower when you mirror from the Dark World to Light World. So having that chest touched gives you a flag that says, I have a follower. And then when you mirror over, the thief says, oh, you have a follower, I'll open it for you, even though it's nowhere reasonable for you to have it.
Now you know where the boss hides, and prdwong is now heading back over here to Desert Palace.
Yeah. No, prdwong's got a Samaria, got a sword, got a fire rod. There are a lot of bosses that he'll be able to kill or kill faster. And
also, you also know that one of your Trinexes are off the table. And
Yep.
you also have the compass, which you find out, hey, it's the Arrows Knights. You can definitely finish this. Information is key in these seeds.
Absolutely. If the time you spend going to a boss that you can't kill is time that you just never get back. Doesn't look like Rayvis did not head into Skull
You
Woods,
only
but-
hope at that point in time that your opponent does the same.
Exactly. Does look like Rayvis did not go into Skull Woods like Pretty Wong did, so that'll be a little bit of time saved on Rayvis' side. I don't think Pretty Wong got anything useful out of Skull Woods out of the front. We'll be able to do the whole thing in one trip once he grabs his fire rod later.
Only if the mushroom turns out to be important, which we don't know at this point. And plus, the way the Rayvis is going, he will have that fire rod, so that this will be an easy trip over to Skull Woods a little bit later on.
Yeah, it sets up really nicely if Rayvis does the same thing that Pretty Wong does and checks the front four here, and then heads to the boss, sees its try next. We'll be able to come back with that hammer at a later point, go to the back if he so chooses, grab the 3 items out of there, and then head directly into Skull Woods. So things lining up pretty well for Rayvis in terms of how he's chosen to path this out. Getting bullied a bit. Rayvis, though, is just going to walk it out. Isn't even going to look at the boss.
That is an interesting decision. Just to walk out of here like that.
Cheeky hook speed there from Rayvis.
All right, so Pretty Wong is going to go ahead and get the same information that we got based up here on the mountain. Although Pretty Wong can also lump this together with a trip to Tower of Hera, which I think is actually going to be the first stop here, as well as find out what's on the Ether tablet.
One other thing, though, Rayvis, while he was up here, did not check the medallion for Turtle Rock.
Also, Pretty Wong checked the map, apparently, and it is going to be a crystal for Tower of Hera, so that leaves us with one more dungeon to figure out. Is it Pod, Skull Woods, or Misery Mire as our remaining crystal? Oh! Ice Rod is on the Ether!
Yeah, and that sword that Rayvis got at Eastern Palace earlier is going to pay off whenever Rayvis gets back up there. He already has a Master Sword. We'll be able to get that Ice Rod immediately. Pretty Wong's going to have to find another sword before he can grab that Ice Rod.
Pretty Wong getting information that they don't know at this point in time by way of the fact that Eastern Palace is rather the map of it right at this point. We'll be able to find out when he takes a look at the map that it is the green pendant.
So Rayvis gets his mirror and fire rod.
I missed to see what the boss of this dungeon was. Was that Cold Stare?
I missed it too, but if it is Cold Stare, it is killable. It is a heck of a fight. I actually had to do this in one of my tournament races, Hammer Cold Stare, on this arena.
Oh, Fairy Revival! Here we go! Look at what's going on over here at Rayvis. So it's Mothula.
Mothula is much easier in this arena than Cold Stare. Just about any of the boss you could get here. Rayvis, though, with a very nice Fairy Revival. Getting that fake flipper state is going to have to... not sure what he's trying to... How he's going to get over to this platform. Trying to bomb jump over to...
There we go! So the first bomb, I think, was to set him up on the right pixel, or sub-pixel, and then the second one was to get the jump across. That's smooth playing right there, Fairy.
Very nicely done. A lot of effort to get over here, even though we know this hammer is way more accessible than Rayvis imagined it's going to be. It was Mothula in Tower Hera, prdwong taking care of that pretty easily, getting his second crystal. Nothing of note out of Tower of Hera, though, other than that crystal. But it's going to take a look here and see what the medallion is for Turtle Rock. You can hop in if he so chooses. It is Bombos, so he cannot so choose.
Yeah, and that is the one medallion we have not seen. And I'm just trying to think if prdwong will be thinking about making a trip over to Spike Cave. It's going to be dangerous at 6 hearts and only the Arcana Burna, but you do also have a Fairy Nabal that he picked up inside of the Tower of Hera.
Yeah, he also picked up the Bug Net so he can grab another Fairy later, so I wouldn't be surprised if prdwong makes a Spike Cave play.
It is a possibility.
Although prdwong's been gambling a bit this season in terms of skipping checks and things like that. It hasn't been as thorough as Rayvis so far. So either way, I could see prdwong making a play, either making that Spike Cave play or not, based on what he's got available to him and how he's played the seed so far.
Yeah, well, that half magic's going to make that decision a little easier if you decide to go to Spike. And that right there, grabbing that hearts, everything we need to know at this point. It's a trip over here to Spike Cave now for prdwong.
Now, wouldn't it be nice if this was a sword for prdwong? Get this sword and then immediately go grab the ice rod.
James FNX, how long have you been playing this game?
Far too long.
So you know that it's not going to be the sword, because why would give something easy to our runners?
Sometimes these seeds can be kind. Not often, but sometimes. No, it's just a map, though.
Have a map to Thieves Town. It is information that prdwong already knows. So thank you, game. Looks like we're getting ready to check the Eastern and the Palace of Darkness area for prdwong. We'll be able to combine those together. Now finds out that it's the green pendant. So if Rayvis finds something here, prdwong's not going to be too far behind.
Yeah, it's Palace Dark has been pretty barren so far. Are getting to the back where all the items are at usually. And prdwong will have an advantage having this hammer. We'll be able to get to the boss if it makes sense and it's something that prdwong can kill. This could be a pretty big time advantage. And
about to get yelled at by Kiki because prdwong winds up mirroring in front of Sahasrahla. And I'm wondering what Rayvis is doing. Maybe flipping out the fact that there's been nothing inside of this Palace of Darkness, or just hitting buttons.
Maybe a combination of both. This has been a very disappointing Palace of Darkness that Rayvis worked really hard to sequence break from his perspective.
And we know it is a crystal. So our two remaining pendants are Misery Mire and Skull Woods. And here I was really hoping for the Helmicopter.
We're not out of the woods yet, are we?
We're not, but how often do we have pedestal seeds?
Not very often, and the only thing that can be there at this point is Bombos, if my notes are correct.
What about flippers?
Could be flippers, that is true. It's not going to be flippers. How long have you played this game, Rick?
Long enough to know better.
And there's that ice rod for Rayvis. Going to be very happy to have that. As long as this boss isn't Trinex number 2, prdwong is going to be able to kill it and put a pretty big time advantage in this trip over to the Palace of Darkness area. Rayvis with the buffered hair pot gets it very quickly.
Pretty solid right there. But that right there, getting the ice rod means that Rayvis is able to beat any boss of this game. Now, prdwong knows where that ice rod is, just needs the other sword to help get that. But yeah, you're 100% correct about this Palace of Darkness just absolutely coming up empty.
And Rayvis going to have a faster time with this Mothula, having Master Sword along with these Fire Rod hits. Easy does it.
Mentioning in chat, are we Bombas from no mode? Nope, we need to know where those flippers are, because we definitely need to do Swamp Palace. That's one of our 7 crystals this time around. Because why not in this game? I'm going to have to borrow that strat, Rayvis.
That's a really good strat, that Samaria block. Getting both those switches as he dashes up.
The only thing about that kind of Samaria hit in Turtle Rock in that cage room at the end.
Yeah, there's a lot of good and varied strats with the Samaria block in that Heg Maze.
And what's your favorite strat?
I tend to do the bootsless one, where you set the block, walk up, and then let the block hit and go through 2 channels of the Peg Maze at once.
I like doing the strat where I bonk into the thing as the switch comes up. Piece of heart on stairs, nothing big.
That's also a very good strat, where you mess up and have to start all over.
That is my book right there. How to mess up without trying, or even with trying.
We get some fresh information on prdwong's side here. Gonna head to the back of House of Darkness. We'll see what this boss is.
And I think if I'm Rayvis at this point in time, the gameplay is to finish off this Thieves Town. Maybe do the back section of Skull Woods as well.
Rayvis, I think that's enough information for Rayvis to know that Skull Woods is a pendant. He's going to head into Skull Woods anyways, though, and check out the front at least.
Yeah, considering the fact that Rayvis hasn't done this, is probably more valuable of a check as opposed to prdwong, who already scouted out this first section.
Yeah, really, right now it's a question of how long it's going to take Rayvis to do the Smith turn-in. Back in the right area for it, at least.
Yeah, and I almost want to assume that Rayvis might make that one of the final stops on this tour. Although Rayvis will not feel good when that hammer shows up. And we get blind in a very annoying room.
Yeah, this is a tricky place for blind. You can't really use Samaria until blind heads to the bottom of the screen. You can only get hits in the corner here, as we're seeing prdwong do.
Yeah, because of those spikes right there in the middle of the room, kind of blocking your ability to set anything up in this room. And you're already behind because of the fact that blind does the come back into the room to defeat it again. strat of setting up at the very top of the room as opposed to the first time in regular runs. So just a 20 off the boss here, and we do get ourselves the crystal to the Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, 3 crystals for prdwong, and despite only having the 20 rupee drop, it is a nice thing for Purdy. With Rayvis is gonna have to go back and do that blind fight later.
Now, do you check Eastern while you're here? It looks like the answer is yes.
Yeah, I mean, prdwong knows that he has to find a sword to get that ice rod. Nari knows there's a Trinex blocking a crystal. I don't think there's any way you can kind of avoid not doing this here. Because right now, what does prdwong have for available crystals, or available dungeons in general? Can go to the back of Skull Woods, he's already dipped half of. Can go to the back of Thief Town, he's already dipped half of. This just makes a lot of sense from his perspective.
Yeah, you're right. And second Mahula, so that's our first boss eliminated off the platform.
We'll get 1 copy of all 10 bosses, and then 3 bosses randomly selected from the pool to duplicate. And there's our Bombo sitting on Pendant Skullwoods Mothra.
Wow.
Rayvis is really hunting for this hammer, and once he finds it, that's going to be go mode for Rayvis, other than those flippers.
Yeah, that's the big question is, where are these flippers? Well, one of the answers to what chat loves to see is going to be coming up here, and if it is fancy a swim, well, we are fancying ourselves a longer seed. Instead, it's a rupee horde.
Just 3/5 of vanilla flippers.
Rayvis is sitting at 6 out of 8, and I'm a little concerned about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he skipped out of this dungeon. I don't know if he has been item counting or what.
Oh, but he's going for it. He's gambling out of here. Oh, okay. Big key, small key. So, yeah, Rayvis has already picked up all 4 items of the Skull Wood, so done. So that means he must have picked up the mushroom earlier.
Yeah, he did get the mushroom out of the front. Did see that. Now he's picking up the smith and he's going to get his hammer. And the world is quite open.
And at that point in time, Rayvis will be a flipper away from go mode. Little does Rayvis know he'll get that portal back. Just not right this very second once he brings the breadsmith back.
And with Rayvis already clearing out Palace of Darkness almost fully, I would imagine that he's going to head to Turtle Rock after he gets his hammer.
Honestly, that makes a lot of sense at this point in time. You already have all 3 of your medallions. You have every item that can beat a boss at this point in time. And all you're looking for are flippers, so you know that Ice Palace is going to be a go mode. Swamp Palace is going to be go mode.
Yeah,
and that's really
I think he wants this portal back so he can go finish up Thieves Town, get half of the 5/6 crystal solution done here, and then head to the Turtle Rock and finish things off.
Yeah,
abandons the chest, and yeah, we're gonna head over to Thieves Town and finish this dungeon off.
Yeah, do things that you need to do in order to beat the seed, and hope that the things are on the way. It's a strategy that makes a lot of sense. You have to do the crystals. You need the 7 in order to get into Ganon's tower.
Yeah, I think the only way that this could potentially hurt Rayvis is if the flippers are specifically in the very back of Thieves Town.
Yeah, because he's doing straight back here to Trinex. And As much as Pretty Wong has been doing a lot of good things in this seed, I'm going to almost assume that that Bombo's placement is really awful for Pretty Wong at this point.
Yeah, doesn't have a lot of reasons to head back to that area. He's already scouted out Trinex. Does have the sword finally, so could head up the mountain eventually. Chose not to do that immediately. I think I probably would have just immediately headed up the mountain and gotten that ice rod just in case I find another Trinex in one of these dungeons. But not a lot of reasons for Pretty Wong to head back into the Northwest Dark World.
It's blue, but it's not the blue we're looking for. And Pretty Wong is setting himself up for a long trip over here to the Pyramid Ledge and then over to Catfish.
This Catfish is one of those checks that, with how this seed is played out, it's highly unlikely that your opponents ever check this. And if Party Wong feels late to that sword, for example, could be worth checking this location. Is kind of playing to your outs. If flippers are here, this is another location that is very, very bad for Rayvis.
Rayvis thought about doing something, but not sure what really Rayvis is thinking at this point in time. There's like a little bit of a gap in his planning stage. Do I really want to do this? Almost seemed to be the question at play here. Mushroom check, by the way. I forgot about this.
Yeah, you get a couple checks out of the way here. This does make a lot of sense for Pretty Wong if he feels that he's a little bit behind to that sword.
We get ourselves a map. We don't really need that at this point. Rayvis is going over towards the Palace of Darkness at this stage. Gonna go ahead and finish this dungeon off.
Yeah, it's a crystal. You're going to do a crystal. You have to do this at some point. I just don't see the value of doing this over Turtle Rock unless this is specifically the flippers from Ravis's point of view, and you can make Turtle Rock a one and done and head to Ganon's Tower after that.
Honestly, James, I'm thinking this might be I really don't know what I'm going to do, so let me buy a few moments here to think about it.
That's totally reasonable too. You have something you know you have to do, and you're just trying to figure out what your next step is. Just a compass off of Catfish. Pretty Wong's going to try and set up and instill a fake flipper here and get into Waterfall Cave. Does not quite get it. It's going to give up after one attempt and take a look at Zora.
That's not blue. I mean, that's blue, but it's not the blue we're looking for. And if that was the blue we're looking for, we have a lot of questions about this game.
All right, what does 500 rupees get you in today's economy?
Nothing.
How about a sword? Is that worth 500 rupees? It's certainly worth 500 rupees.
Okay, I might make a concession on that. That might actually be worth.
Tempered Sword is such a huge upgrade over Master Sword for a lot of these boss fights. This looks to be Hera Basement? Oh no, this is getting the Ice Rod, and then Pretty Wong's going to head over to Thieves Town.
And now Rayvis getting the news that Blind is the boss of this Palace of Darkness. Pretty Wong also not really certain what's going on here, but now realizes this is what I came up here for. The Ice Rod for the Trinex that I know that I need to beat.
This having a little adventure here with Blind does have Burnout gets it out and finishes off phase 3. So catching up in crystals. Actually taking the lead because Eric has that Thief Town crystal as well. And Pretty Wong with this Ice Rod is heading over to Thieves Town.
Yeah, and if Purdy Wong does not go into Skull Woods afterwards, this is probably where the race starts to take a shape where Rayvis is likely to be one of our 6 and O's.
Yeah, there is caveat though. Purdy Wong is in a much better position to check the back of Thieves Town here. He's got way more incentive to do that than Rayvis ever does. And if those flippers are in the back of Thieves Town, like I said earlier, that would be a huge swing into Purdy Wong's favor.
And I agree with you on that. I absolutely agree with you on that.
But first, we're going to take a look at Sick Kid. We've already seen this on Rayvis' side of Purdy Wong. He's getting finally getting an opportunity to come over here. And Rayvis making his way over to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, the plays that these two runners are making at this point in time, they 100% make sense. So the big question here is, does Purdy Wong wind up checking the back? That's the huge question at this point.
Certainly going to kill the boss first. I can't imagine that Purdy Wong leaves the back of Thieves Town with as little as he has left in logic for himself.
So here we go up against Trinix and Rayvis going into Turtle Rock. At the 1 hour mark, a reminder of the stakes involved in this race. Rayvis wins. They will go 6-0. We'll talk about the other thing that happens with Rayvis' win in just a moment. Purdy Wong, a win, clinches them a spot into the bracket round by virtue of this win over Rayvis, because they will have the tiebreaker over F. Coughlin. But if Rayvis wins, it is Rayvis and F. Coughlin coming out of this group to play in the brackets. And Rayvis, with that 6-0, would be guaranteed no lower than the number 8 seed in brackets.
Yeah, the better your record in the group stage, the better your seed will be in brackets. And taking one of those top 5 or top 8 seeds, and you're going to be playing someone who went either 2-4 or 3-3 and kind of scratch and clawed their way into brackets and 2 seed. But way bigger stakes for Purdy Wong here. Winning in, losing out. And Purdy Wong is going to head to the back of Thieves Town. We'll see what it is back here for those 3 checks, these 3 items.
I feel the music sets the mood pretty nicely at this stage of the run. And for those of you that are tuning in here at the hour mark, we are looking for the bombos on Purdy Wong's side. We know where they are. They was on the Skull Woods boss, which turned out to be Mothula. Pendant Skull Woods, mind you. Hey, there's her other sword.
Yeah,
those are 2.
That's another sword that Rayvis is not likely to find.
Yeah, that's 2 swords that Rayvis is unlikely to find.
And while we're talking about the stakes, Zelga Dissonant chat, one of our top runners, pointing out that fighting flippers here in the back of Thieves Town may not be so good for Purdy Wong if they'll send him over to potentially go over to Swamp Palace and Ice Palace to full clear those without needing to at all.
Yeah, you're right. And those are long digs. Well, not necessarily Ice Palace, but the Swamp Palace, definitely, yes. And so far, the answer is no inside of this Thieves Town. One final chance. And the answer is no. Purdy Wong does not find the flippers inside of Thieves Town.
Just hopping back in, make sure you got everything. No reason to trying to set up a hook speed here. It does get it off of Skull Woods, and that means that Purdy Wong will almost certainly get the Spawnless Medallion in just a little bit. Gonna take a look at Graveyard Ledge first, though.
As Rayvis now heading inside of this Mimic Cave. I think we're starting to really run out of locations where these flippers can turn out to be.
Yeah, you could see it here in Graveyard Ledge, you could see it here in Mimic Cave. There's silver arrows.
Okay, so if we do find flippers, it's not there, but if we do find flippers in the near future, that may not be something that prdwong finds unless it's on the Rayvis path here. Although I'm having a really hard time thinking about what else we have besides the checks that are coming up here on the laser bridge. But now we already know that the next two checks that, well, one of the checks that Rayvis is going to have, the next check is going to be a small key, but there's going to be a small key on the laser bridge as well.
So we got the 3 other checks on Laser Bridge plus the boss error, and I can't think of any other place these flippers can be other than those 4 checks at this point.
Confirmation, that was a compass we found earlier. A lot of time-consuming checks here for prdwong. There's the small key. That's blue, but it's not the blue we are looking for. Oh my! Oh my!
Well, we have the potential of flippers, but nothing substantial yet. Gain dash strats for Rayvis here in Peg Maze.
And don't forget, now that opens up a possibility of 3 checks coming up here. That shovel plus the pyramid fairy.
Yeah, this search for a nice find for these silvers as we head into a Vitreous fight here in Turtle Rock. Good timing there.
Don't hug the eyeballs.
As this seed gets more and more linear, there's not a lot of spaces where prdwong can make up time on Rayvis. Assuming, of course, that somewhere in the Steve's Town Pyramid Fairy shovel line is the flippers. The one advantage prdwong has is going to have at least 1 sword advantage, probably 2. But Vitreous is a boss that doesn't really care about your sword status if you do have those silver arrows like Rayvis has.
There is the bombos for prdwong. Rayvis noping out of here, and now it's down to those 3 checks unless Rayvis gets baited back into Thieves Town, but that does not look like that's what we're going to see here. It looks like we're going to do Pyramid Fairy first, and you're right, it does look like Rayvis might be setting up to actually get Tempered Sword off Zora.
Potentially. If we find the flippers here, I can't see Rayvis heading to Zora.
True, yeah, you're right. I'm guess I'm speaking more on the we don't find it there, but you're right. Anyways, answering a comment in chat in regards to whether or not we've seen any double bosses between besides Mothula. Mothula is the only boss that we've seen duplicates of so far.
As for things we haven't seen yet, we haven't seen a Landmo, we haven't seen Mothula or Boldorm, we haven't seen the Helma, and
Cold Stare.
We've not seen a Cold Stare yet. And prdwong getting the same Dead Rock treatment that Rayvis got trying to get Turtle Rock. We're gonna have to increase the pay of these Dead Rocks. They're doing a great job today.
Can't we draft them for a football offensive line?
Pretty unstoppable.
I know, right?
And there are the flippers.
There are the flippers at 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 13 seconds. Rayvis is in go mode. So we're going to likely see then prdwong getting the silver arrows, but we're going to be seeing Master Sword versus Gold Sword for this seed, for the last, 20 minutes of this seed.
Yeah, and depending on what the bosses are laid out, having Gold Sword is going to be a fairly big advantage time-wise. I just don't know if it's going to be enough time for prdwong to make up, being an entire Turtle Rock behind.
I have to agree with you on that one here. I mean, it's not out of the question just yet, but I think prdwong needs Rayvis to kind of have a couple of execution issues in order to get back in this.
Yeah, that could help. I could also see if the ice room in Ganon's Tower is required, a couple bosses there can make things very interesting in this race.
And as Rayvis showed us in, what was that, the first qualifier of the tournament here, they can go with low percent equipment and do pretty well with it. In fact, they were getting it like a sub-hour in that first seed of the tournament.
Yeah, that seed that caused Mimiclip to be trending on certain search engines. But yeah, no, I have no doubt in Rayvis's ability to do a lot of these rooms on low equipment. But there are a couple of bosses that could be sitting in that ice room if it's required. That having Gold Sword is a savings of far more than just a few seconds. If it's, say, a Trinex or even a Cold Stare.
And I would agree with you on that one. There, it's we'll see what winds up happening. We'll even see if it's absolutely needed at this point in time. It could very well not come into play. But as far as this race is concerned, Rayvis does have a comfortable lead at this point. But the question is, how do you really feel about your seed at this point? You've won through Eastern Palace to get the green pendant. You came up empty, with the exception of the Master Sword, which you likely believe was the way for you to actually beat this seed. In fact, that is the only way that Rayvis could beat this seed at this point.
Yeah, not knowing about the Sword of Zora, the Master Sword being what locked in that ice rod at Ether Tablet. I think Rayvis probably feels very good quickly getting to Bombos Medallion in a location that could be easily orphaned, as we saw on prdwong's side.
I think the only thing that Rayvis might not necessarily feel great about, yeah, you did Eastern, but that was early on this seed. I think the bigger thing would have been the hammer that Rayvis took a little while to get from the Breadsmith, but getting the Bombos beforehand set Rayvis up for it kind of being a wash in the end.
Yeah, you could definitely see a better route from Rayvis's perspective, but not a ton of better routes, as we see Lando here in Swamp Palace. Very easy. 3 shots, 3 kills. So Rayvis getting a lot of good boss luck in these last 2 boss fights. That Master Sword versus Gold Sword not really mattering when you have these silver arrows and able to clear out these bosses very quickly.
But on the same token, they do eliminate those bosses, or at least the potential of eliminating those bosses from the pool. Again, we still do have the potential of 2 duplicates coming up here, and we don't know which 2 they are. But next up for us is Ice Palace, which will be a blink and you miss it type of dungeon.
Rayvis is going to open maybe 2 chests in here. One looking for a small key, and then one just because it's in the way.
So the free Zor and the big key chest?
Definitely. Chad asking what bosses we've not seen besides Coldstare. We've not seen a Moldorm yet, and we've also not seen a Helmasaur.
Just means Helmasaur is going to be at the Moldorm 2 platform.
Don't talk to me about that, please.
Okay. Just realize that your pain has been accepted by many other people and have been dealt with by many others. We're here to help.
Yeah, I had that after an Ice Trinex in a race that was restrained earlier in the tournament, and no bueno.
I mean, you're right. Helmassar on that platform is definitely no bueno.
It's pretty long getting through these laser skips. Not a lot of health, but enough, especially with blue mail. It's not going to have to worry about dying in here with a fairly easy boss at the end as well. Ooh, that's a pokey hit, though. We'll have to be a little careful against Vitreous. One hit will kill him.
Yeah. And you definitely want to grab that heart at least to get yourself a little bit. I think prdwong still has the fairy in the bottle.
Yes, yeah, prdwong still has that fairy, so can take a death. Doesn't want to. Costs time, obviously. Very happy to have those silvers, though. As we find a cape in one of these two checks that I was talking about, nice balance if it's kind of along the way. That cape will definitely help Rayvis out with his Master Sword fight for Ganon later in the game.
Yeah, you're right.
Very nice spin clip, too. And ask you what you might check a boss if you can kill all of the bosses. If you want to set up what you need to actually fight a boss before you drop in the room, I think it kind of helps a little bit. As it Rayvis busting out a fire rod, and it's just a Moldorm. So there's our first Moldorm of the seed.
It's Tridorm. And I think the idea is you kind of want to prepare yourself. Like, if you know that it's a magic-consuming boss you're going to get, you want to be prepared magic. Otherwise, you don't want to go down and find out, uh-oh.
Yeah, you don't want any uh-oh moments dropping into Cold Stare, especially. But just in general, you just want to make sure that you know what the boss is, you're ready to prepare as you're walking into a room. Especially with Quick Swap, you can get to whatever items you need to very quickly. And that is 7 crystals for Rayvis. That's all 7. We're off to Ganon's Tower. And if you're a gambler, you can wager some of those valuable channel points.
And of course, we got a bunch of people putting numbers in the chat, and pick a number between 1 and 22. Tell us where you believe that the big key is going to be on this upcoming trip into Ganon's Tower.
I think this key's gonna be a little funny. Make our runners worry a little bit, but that key's gonna be sitting in Bob's chest.
And yep, Rayvis does have Swamp Palace taken care of. We'll have that lit up on the buttons in just a second, as prdwong getting ready to head over here to Swamp. But barring a catastrophe right now, it's Rayvis and Fred looking pretty comfortable to move on out of this group.
Yeah, Fred's got to feel as good as you can watching your fate being decided. But this is a fairly sizable advantage for Rayvis heading into Ganon's Tower.
But it's not a done deal yet.
Yeah.
We have no idea what this dungeon has in store. And again, there's 2 bosses yet to be duplicated.
Never done deal in boss shuffle, that's for sure. Our container sitting up pretty on the torch. Rayvis gonna pass on that.
And so far, just 1 key found in the Staphos room.
Rayvis gonna continue on to Map Room at least. Looks like this is gonna be a full left-hand side for Rayvis. Rayvis having a little bit of problems with the double switch room.
Yeah, this is an unfortunate room right there. It got unfortunate by the fact they hit both crystal switches, which wound up resulting in both switches getting hit. You know, the same effect if you wound up hitting a bomb too close to those switches too.
Pretty long with the nice little bit of defeating your own muscle memory going through Swamp Palace. Already has Gold Sword, already has Silver Arrows and Half Magic. There's nothing that prdwong could grab out of these chests that really matters. So a lot of runners will just grab those 2 swamp chests out of muscle memory. prdwong's smart enough to just skip those and go directly to the back.
And we are not going to go over to Bob's chest or the Armos or the Ice Armos boss slot just yet. As over here in Hope, we did have to find at least 1 key, but we find 2 keys. Those 360 rupees that Rayvis found in Rando Room made him do an absolute 360 in this dungeon. Let's not die.
Yeah, Rayvis did use that fairy a little earlier to get across the Palace of Darkness a little earlier than he should have. So this is a little nervy for him.
prdwong heading over here to Ice Palace. And red mail found, and we do have to go over to either Bob or the Ice Armos or everyone else's favorite room in this game.
Isle room. Rayvis, though, did get a piece of heart and get the lucky refill.
So what boss do you think this is going to be?
I think this is probably going to be... I think it's going to be Ice Armos. I think we're going to have Vanilla Ice Armos here. We're definitely going to find out, as that is not the big key in Bob's chest.
It is Vanilla Ice Armos.
That's our second duplicate.
Now, Rayvis' last 3 bosses have been convenience bosses.
Oh yeah, this silver arrows that Rayvis found in Mimic Cave have really been helpful.
Room.
All you 22 truthers out there, big winners today.
And big shout outs to both of our runners. Be sure to give them a follow and be sure to give them some love and support for playing this seed for us here on SpeedGaming 2 this afternoon. Also, big shout outs to our tracker on this match here, Sabletooth, for clicking those buttons, making them appear. And of course, thank you all for joining us. I have nothing else to say. Let's have this big key come out.
That is all the randomness. It's now, well, not all the randomness. This is boss shuffles. There's still a little bit more randomness, but most of the randomness is done. We're into the climb. We're into execution territory.
So we haven't seen a Cold Stare nor a Helmasar King. There's still one duplicate boss on the table. Who's going to be at the Lamo?
I could see that being Helmasaur. The one thing is both Cold Stare and Helmasaur are bosses that can show up in the Moldworm Arena, whereas some other bosses cannot.
So just for chat's sake, which bosses are ones that can't be in the Moldorm 2 arena?
We can't have a Trinex. We can't have Blind. I don't think we can have Armos Knights either, or Landmo. I think it's very limited to, like, Moldorm, Mothula, Cold Stare, Vitreous, Helmosaur.
Which boss do you think Rayvis is hoping not to see on this climb?
I can't imagine Rayvis cares that much about what bosses are here. I think that the bosses you don't want to see with Rayvis' loadout are maybe Helmosaur at Moldorm 2, and that's about it.
Well, we know we're not getting Cold Stare or Trinex. We are getting our Helmosaur.
Yeah, and this is a little awkward because of the shooter. Some bosses showing up in this room put too many sprites on the screen. That shooter just doesn't work. This is not one of them, unfortunately.
Can we just get rid of the shooter?
I wish. I really wish.
I'm not just talking for boss, McBoss. I'm talking for Rando, period.
This is another boss, though. These silver arrows are just paying off dividends. A lot of the time save that could have been gained by prdwong having Gold Sword versus Master Sword has been eaten up by these bosses that all die very quickly to silver arrows.
Yeah, you're right. And Helmosaur takes a while for those 16 hammer hits, or 17 hammer hits, period, because you've got to do that with a hammer no matter what, or with the bombs. It's not like the difference in having to sword down a boss. Which means the only boss that really could come in Rayvis' way at this stage at the top would be a Cold Stare, and even there, that's not necessarily a rough fight. You've done this kind of fight many, many times with Master Sword.
Yeah, it's Cold Stare is about the only thing that could slow Rayvis down here. Helmosaur is just an awkward fight in that spot. You kind of want to get on the other side of Helmosaur and chuck bombs at the helmet. But yeah, there's really not much that's going to slow Rayvis down here, and it's very fortunate as we find the flute sitting at check number 25 in Ganon's Tower.
Making it more obvious the fact that we were not going to need the pedestal for this seed.
Absolutely.
All right, final boss is Cold Stare.
Yeah, so this is the one boss that Rayvis can't just arrow down, and it's a little awkward having the puffs floating around in this tiny arena. But Rayvis has done this fight. This shouldn't be too big of a deal. You get kind of helped out by the corners a little bit. You get these double hits with Fire Rod a lot easier.
And having half magic is also a nice thing, but you don't want to use too much of your magic with a Ganon just around the corner.
That is true. It does have silver arrows, so not going to be hurting too much.
Right. Obviously, it's you decide whether or not. I mean, you decide how heavy you want to use the cape in the upcoming fight. Really, in that case.
Yeah, and I don't think Rayvis has a blue or a green potion, so probably not going to be able to use the cape all that much, even with half magic. You still have to get spins in, so you're not going to be able to necessarily kill Ganon himself with one cycle, necessarily, depending on where he spawns.
Yeah, and also, in full honesty, that big key being number 22 is not helpful for prdwong either.
No, prdwong, no chance of gaining any sort of time advantage on routing here in Ganon's Tower.
The only way you'd be able to do it is if you Galaxy Brain the flute there, and there's not a lot of runners who will pull that trigger on chest number 3 being the tile room open.
Yeah, you have to feel a very certain way about a seed to kind of choose tile room over anything else.
And I think only one runner really has ever done that, and that's Willard J. Bradley.
Sounds like a Will or J. Bradley thing to do, to be quite fair.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Ganon fight coming up here. This will be spin to win here for Rayvis.
Not the full spin cycle, does have the silver arrows, but does even get 12 spins here in phase 1, 12 spins in phase 2.
Thank you for reminding me that I need to do my laundry.
Through phase 1 pretty easily. Phase 2 coming up. Not a great position for this first section of phase 2, but does avoid the fire bats to start with. That red mail found again.
Oh, beautiful setup.
Yeah, the second one, though, is very nice. Just sit in the corner, spin a bunch.
If Rayvis can hold on here, Rayvis will be the second 6-0 into the clubhouse.
That should be enough for phase 2 there, heading into phase 3.
And that red mail also helping out, allowing him to stomach those 2 fire bats.
Yeah, without that red mail, Rayvis would be dead right now. He's taking 3 hits in this fight, so red mail paying dividends. Although I do believe Rayvis has a red potion as well, so even if he does take one more hit from a fire bat, we'll still have a bit of safety. Just a matter of not getting tugged by Ganon here.
All right, final stage now to begin. 4 silver arrows for Rayvis. That's an... Oh, we did not get the double there. I thought we were... Oh, that was a little close.
Rayvis so really good awareness, just holding neutral on the joypad as taking those bad hits, so not to get knocked into the abyss there.
I think Rayvis is just freaking out just a little bit at this point. Needs to calm it down. But that's the final silver hit for Rayvis. Rayvis joins Vortex of Doom in the clubhouse. Fred gets clinched a bracket spot, and prdwong has been eliminated with this result.
Get those GGs in chat for Rayvis. Finishing things off with an official time of 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 48 seconds. Thanks to racetime.gg for that. And yeah, Rayvis 6-0. F. Coughlin, Fred 3-3, gonna make it in as the 2 seed in Group A, B, C, D, E, F. And prdwong, unfortunately, is going to exit this tournament.
We are seeing prdwong finishing out this seed for now. And this is just one of many matches today where there's a lot at stake in these races. Let's go ahead and talk to Rayvis.
Rayvis, welcome in. GG's. Congratulations on the win. Congratulations on 6-0 in your group.
Yo, GG's. Thanks, guys.
So, at what point were you nervous about the results of this race?
Actually, when I forgot to check the red crystals, that was the first time out of multiple.
What were the others?
Everything when I found the hammer, because I didn't know what to do.
Okay, that was one of the key points I was thinking that you may have actually been thinking that you could actually have some issues with the seed, was when you got the later hammer from the breadsmiths. As prdwong takes a hit by the fire, but does have the fairy for the Helmisar fight. But yeah, I that was one of the marks there where I thought you could maybe think that you were behind, was due to that location of the hammer.
I had a couple of spots because of the mirror. I went to port early, which was a pretty cool experience, to be honest.
Yeah, we did shout out your fairy revival to get yourself all set up for the trip across the water.
I can't believe it took like 800 seats until that setup comes into play, but sure, sometimes it's coming. But yeah, I don't know. When I wanted to go to port, I was thinking, oh, do pyramid fairy before, and I went down, and then I went, oh wait, red bomb is red crystal is turtle rock. You can't do that. Go up now. No, wait, down is faster. What am I doing? What am I doing? And I don't know. There was like a period of 20 to 25 minutes where I really needed to take a breather. And then at the Ganon fight, I I did a really stupid mistake, unintentionally, obviously, because I thought suddenly you could go actually 6-0 now, and that was a thought that you don't want to have when you fight Ganon with Master Sword, because suddenly everything.
Okay, so
is,
I'm really glad you brought that up, because we did notice that at the very end that you seem to be fumbling through your inventory, that you seem to have some nerves coming up right there, that like it seemed like you were feeling the pressure at that point in time. That exactly explains what was going through your head at that stage.
You know, and then the hardest 10 minutes actually came, because I was thinking the last 10 minutes, how do you really explain them without losing face? That what happened in Ganon phase 1 to 4, I guess. So, but no, all good. I'm glad I made it. I definitely did some bad mistakes, like not checking Red Crystal. That actually helped me, because then I finished Skullwoods and I was like, okay, you either need flippers or a crystal here. And then I saw bombs and I was like, okay, I also forgot to check Turtle Rock entrance. Very good. This is very good what I'm doing. What is going on? And then it's actually bombers. And I was like, okay, do I pay for the flippers here or not? Well, let's go Turtle Rock. And well, it's not here, but I now can finally do Red Bomb. And I saw the first chest and I was like, yeah, that was a good time waste. And then the flippers turn, I was like, well, maybe it wasn't.
Rayvis, you lucked yourself into that apparently, and you know sometimes that's what it takes, because prdwong took a little bit extra time getting into that Skull Woods, knowing that it was a pendant dungeon as opposed to a crystal. So I was thinking it was because you didn't have the hammer at that point while you were in Skull Woods, but that does make sense.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, I was thinking maybe I need to clear this regardless, or at least until I find the hammer, because it was clear for me that I'm not gonna leave at least without the hammer for now. Could have been baited away by the flippers if they came early. Then I might have dipped in ice or just left Skull Woods, or the back of Skull Woods. But in the end, nothing turned up, and that Bombos was the game breaker. And in the end.
So you are currently 6-0, and at this point in time, you're the second one into the clubhouse. You're behind Vortex of Doom, but you're assured no less than an 8 seed. Now, there is one other race that's going on right now that could impact that, and we can tell you at this stage that race is not done and over with. We're not going to spoil what's going on with that race itself, but it's not done and over with at this point. But you currently are sitting at the number 2 with the chance of being no less than 8.
Yeah, I mean, pretty good feeling, although I am a little cursed, and I have to defeat this right now, or not right now, but in the next match in the playoffs, because the last 2 main tournaments I went into the third quartile, always finished group first, same this year, but I always got 2 out in the first round of brackets, so I think history doesn't need to repeat like 2 times. So it would be fine if I at least get a game this time in playoffs, but sure. Obviously, I want to see how far I can get, but for now, 6-0 is great.
In other words, if you're the 57th through the 63rd seeds, watch out. Rayvis is coming for you.
Yeah, also, GG's to Vortex, by the way. I didn't have a chance yet to tell him, so I'm just going to tell it now. If he's not hearing that, then it's unfortunate, but I did it.
As prdwong getting ready to finish off this Ganon fight, had the tempered sword as well as the golden sword. You want to know where those locations were?
The swords?
Yes.
Go ahead, teach me.
First one was on the Zora. The second one was up on the attic of the Thieves Town. prdwong gets the 4th silver hit into Ganon, has finished off for this fight, and get your GGs in the chat.
GG's prdwong.
So you kind of got bailed out by the fact that 3 of your bosses, after going into go mode, turned out to be bosses who could easily be killed, or not necessarily go, but after getting the bombos, that the 3 of the 4 bosses were bosses who could easily be killed by silver arrows.
Yeah, I mean, a good thing I found them. Imagine flippers being in the big chest, and I leave those silvers there up there in Mimic Cave, but that happens sometimes, but it's all good. I'm glad how this turned out. I certainly could have lost that easily if the flippers are somewhere else, or rather, Bombos is not required probably, because I don't know if I immediately go up the mountain if I get the hammer, playing for the 2/3 chance. But yeah, it was lucky in the end a bit, but overall, it was okay. I did some hiccups here and there, surely. some bigger ones, but nothing bad happened, and MC Boss Shuffle sometimes turns out to be really bad.
And I feel like you did a couple of what turned out to be unlucky errors in this race, unlucky situations in this race, maybe is the better way of saying it. But in the end, you still executed pretty solid, and you walk away with this with a 6-0 record. The again, a seeding that's no worse than 8th, depending on what else happens in all of these other 6-0, 5-0 matches that are coming up here. And yeah, you've got yourself in a pretty good position for brackets.
Yeah, I mean, 6-0 is not something that you get all the time, specifically when we talk about something like a main tournament. So I'm very happy where I am right now, and yeah, I think I can continue like this, maybe a little bit more consistent in my executions here and there, and staying more calm here and there. But anything else is pretty much okay so far.
So we can tell you this, and this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler. So if you don't want to hear this, mute out the next 10 seconds of this broadcast. But we can now tell you that you are going to be no higher than 3 seed, but still no lower than 8 seed, as turns out Andy did win that race.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, TJ Joel is a good runner, but Andy was the clear favorite in my eyes, so not surprised. I imagine that I go in 8th seed, because when I look at the names that are playing, and I think there are a lot of like 4 or 5-0, I think most of them will probably make it. Maybe 1 or 2 hiccups, but I actually don't expect it. I'm expecting to be 8th seed and whatever. This is in the end like nothing's changing, right? So I'm gonna get my opponent, whoever it's gonna be, and hopefully we have some good races there.
Yeah, but it all depends on what happens with Scholzer, whose match got postponed today. Furious Magic, who's playing later today. Humbug, who's still got to go and play 2 more matches. John Snoo and Scottish Brave, who's also sitting at 5-0, just above you in the court and the qualifier numbers. But yeah, GG's to you. Anything you want to add, James?
No, GG's Rayvis, and yeah, hopefully you can break your streak of 2-0 sweeps and brackets. You get a week off, get to relax, get to reset, and good luck to you in brackets.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for commentating, tracking, and of course restreaming. Also, thanks to the chat for hanging out. Nice to have you guys in here, and yeah, see you soon.
Absolutely. GG's once again to Rayvis. Once again, no interview here from prdwong as they have to get going to work, but give them a big GG's and a lot of love and support. Sad to see them go as far as this tournament is concerned, but hopefully they all had fun here in this tournament. And as a result of this, Rayvis and F. Coughlin move out of Group A-B, and they will be playing in the upcoming bracket stage of this tournament. So let's go ahead and wrap things up. James, I'll let you go ahead and say the exits. I'm Adirondack Rick saying thank you for watching.
Thanks, Rick, and so much rando today. So many matches. You're gonna steal on this channel, have a lot of fun. Grab some lunch, grab some coffee. We got CS Tudor 89 versus Tito coming up on the main SpeedGaming channel at 2:10 Eastern, so that's a little over an hour from now. Hour after that, right here, we got FaZe versus Telethar. And then at 5:10 Eastern, Ninjembro versus Cool Papa Bell. That's an elimination game, potentially. 6:10, McMulkey versus Jay Meisher. That's going to be right here at SpeedGaming 2.
Can I go back to that Ninjembro race just
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
a moment here? Because if Ninjembro wins, there's a 3-way tie for first place in that group with all matches done.
Yeah, they're all at 4-2. There's no way not to have a 3-way tie with everyone having identical records there, so there's going to be some sort of tiebreaker between those 3 if Ninjembro wins.
3-way race off.
It's going to be great.
3-way race off.
So yeah, you got that at 5:10. That's on the main SpeedGaming channel. Let's get 6:10 right here in SpeedGaming 2, McMulkey versus Jay Meisher. Over on the ALTTPR Randomizer channel, you got a double header of Willard J. Bradley versus BNDM, getting both the races in today. And then the nightcap, Sean Rhapsody versus Vextifer closing things out. So another 7 races for you to watch here across the various channels hosting this tournament. Thanks everyone for coming in. Thanks for everyone for watching. Hope everyone has a good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. And keep enjoying some random. We'll see you later.